welcome back to Podium Pop. My name is Celine. I'm here with my co-host, Gracie. We are a motorsport podcast that covers a couple different racing series, and it is winter break. So this episode, we will be going over our 2024 pre-season Formula One predictions, seeing how we did, comparing our thoughts back then to our thoughts now. I haven't rewatched the video since we basically put it out. Gracie just rewatched it, so she's going to kind of lead us through the conversations. I have no idea what I said, guys. I'm so nervous.
So it's funny.
I'm excited, but it'll be interesting to see how they compare. Before we get too far into it, make sure you go follow us on social media. We are on TikTok, as long as we're able to be. Who knows about the band? I don't know any of that. I don't know what's going on.
That's not my business.
That's not my business. We are also on Instagram, and we post our episodes mostly every Monday on YouTube and on Spotify. We did miss last week, and next week we have a scheduled week off. But then, other than that, we're pretty consistent. So make sure you go check us out on there, follow us, and let's go ahead and pop the bottle, and let's get right on into it.
We need to make a disclaimer that we filmed this, I think, the week before or 2 weeks before Lewis to Ferrari was announced. Because we talk about that a bit, so I'm putting that in there. We
had
really early on in January.
Yeah, like before testing, before...
Yeah, way before testing.
It was like during the time that there was nothing going on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, quick side note. We talked about in the very beginning of the episode, we were like, yeah, Charles posted on Instagram, and he's like, waist deep in the snow eating ice cream. What's up with that?
Wow.
That was just Easter eggs for his company.
Some Easter eggs.
Is that crazy?
It's so crazy. It's just so weird, like, how we were so oblivious back
I know.
to everything. Which, like, everyone was. It wasn't just us. Like, no one knew. But it's just so funny.
Why else would he be eating ice cream waist deep in the snow?
I thought he was just being quirky.
No,
he was being a quirky, fun girl.
We were like, he loves ice cream.
Like, oh my god, so relatable.
Yeah.
That's so us.
Okay, do you want to hear who you said your top 4 drivers were?
Yeah.
You obviously said Lando and Oscar. And then you said Fernando.
Okay.
And then you said Charles.
Interesting, because I would not put that now. Now I would obviously still have Lando and Oscar.
Yeah.
I would probably do... Oh, that's actually really tough.
Yeah.
Carlos. And then... I don't even know, like, Max, maybe?
Yeah.
I think. Who would yours?
I think
did
you
you
also...
say?
Actually, you know, I think you did say Max as well.
Okay.
We both said Max, and I just forgot to write them down. My bad. Because it was like one of the things where we were like, Max, and we're like, yeah, and then we like moved on.
We're like, duh, yeah,
like, of course
obviously.
Like Max.
Yeah.
I said Lando, Oscar, Logan, and Charles. Rest in peace to Logan.
Rest in peace to Logan. Yep. Who would you say your top 4 are now?
Lando, Oscar, Max, Alex.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Carlos and Alex Williams, we love you.
Oh, we sure do. Okay. We started off strong. We went in with World Drivers' Championship.
Okay.
Okay. You said Max wins. And then you said, I don't know which order it's going to be, but I think Lando P2. And then you said P3 is either going to be Lewis or Carlos.
I wasn't that wrong.
You weren't that wrong.
I got 1 and 2 right.
Yeah, you got 1 and 2 right. Way better than I did.
I'm happy. Okay, what'd you say?
I said Max, Lewis, Lando.
Lewis disappointed.
We were like really hyping up Lewis. I think a lot of people were at the beginning.
Again, we didn't know that. Not that I think that his performance this season related to the fact that he was leaving out of Mercedes, but I do think he did become a little bit complacent, and I don't think he was as hungry, which maybe lost him some places. I don't know.
Very interesting season from Lewis.
Very interesting season, but
Even though he got his first win.
What did he end up in?
Not high up.
5th?
I think it was like 5th or 6th. Because I thought it went Max, Lando, Charles, Oscar, Carlos, George.
It was Max, Lando, Charles, Oscar, Carlos, George. Lewis was in 7th.
That's insane.
And then it was Checo.
Yeah. Oh! We didn't even talk about that.
Oh, yeah, guys.
Well, everybody knows this by now.
Everybody knows.
We talked about it over on our TikTok, so if you want our thoughts, go look at our TikTok.
Yeah, go look at our TikTok.
Check out Liam and Isaac in So Many Rookies. We'll probably do more later.
Yes.
Okay. So that is very interesting for our drivers.
Yeah.
We are.
I'm really proud of my
Lando
Lando P2.
You should be proud of your constructors as well.
I should?
Yeah.
What did I say? I think I did put McLaren first, right?
You did.
Which was a hot take back then.
That was a hot take. Even in the episode, I was like, you literally go, you're going to freak out when I say this. And I was like, you're putting McLaren 1.
Like putting it in perspective, like last season where they were and how far everyone was away from Red Bull.
Yeah.
I think that me calling McLaren P1 in the constructors, I'm proud of that.
No, you should be so proud of that. That's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Also, looking back, if you look back at what all the like F1 TV presenters predicted, did you see that?
No.
They like did their top 10 and then like they brought it back up at the end of the season, and like nobody scored Lando or Oscar higher in the championship than P5. Isn't that insane?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's manifestation.
Yeah, absolutely. And we said that in the end of the episode. I was
Did
like,
we?
I'm too superstitious to like predict them higher up, and you were like, I'm manifesting.
You know, one thing about Podium Pop is we never change.
We're consistent. Okay.
Well, we are.
Well, okay. For constructors, I'm going to tell our last place, and then I'm going to give our top 3.
Okay.
Your last place was Haas.
Sorry, boys.
Yeah. And then my last place was Steak, so I got that right.
Uh-huh.
Okay. P4, we both said Ferrari.
P4 for constructors?
Yeah, for constructors.
Oh, wow. So they
I
were
know.
higher up than we were expecting. Did we put Mercedes before them?
Yeah. You said Mercedes 3rd, and then you said Red Bull 2nd, and then you said McLaren 1st.
Okay, so I got the top 4 right. I
Yeah.
just only got the first one right.
Yeah. That's kind of wild, though, to think about the fact that I was like, no way Red Bull's in 2nd.
I know, and then they ended up in
you
3rd.
you gave like a very accurate of what happened. You were like, I think Checo's gonna fall so far behind it's gonna fuck them over. So you were like head on.
Guys, I'm impressed with myself.
Yeah. So after I said Ferrari 4th, I said McLaren 3rd, Mercedes 2nd, Red Bull 1st. So I was a little off. Mm-hmm. We both had like the top 4 right, but
yeah,
you were a lot more correct. Okay, and then we chitter-chattered for a bit. Once again, this was before Lewis left, or the announcement for Ferrari left, and we were talking about Lewis because we both were like, oh, this is gonna be Lewis's year. Like, we were like, this is gonna be his year, he's gonna get this, like, he's gonna, I don't know. And, we started talking about Mercedes, and you were like, well, Lewis can't stay at Mercedes for forever. And I was like, come on. And then you're like, I don't know, maybe after 2026 he's gonna leave. So, like, I don't know what you were on, but...
I'm scared.
Yeah.
Did I cause this?
Yes.
Sorry, Carlos.
Yeah, sorry, Carlos.
Wow. Okay, crazy. I mean, it's true. Like, he was getting, like, stuck at Mercedes, and it was the right call for him to move.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe he listened to Podium Pop and got some ideas.
The week before.
Not that the contract negotiations was happening months before
Not $100 million.
Maybe that was the final straw that broke the camel's back, is listening to Podium Pop.
Absolutely.
He heard me say that, and he was like, Celine, you are so right.
So right, I gotta go. I'm gonna go next year.
There you go.
Okay. Then next we did what teammate we thought would outscore each other.
Okay. Wait, this is fun. I don't remember doing any of this.
Okay, so for Ferrari, we both said... Oh, no. You said that Carlos would outscore, and I said that Charles would outscore. And so
I was wrong.
Charles, yeah. That's okay. We both said Alex against Logan, but that... I mean, it happened.
It happened. A lot.
Yeah, a lot. We both said Fernando. We both said Max. We both said Lando, but then we were like, I don't know, it could be really close this year, we're not sure, but we both did end up Lando. Mm-hmm. We both said Bottas, which was wrong. Show outscored him.
Yep.
By 4 points for the whole entire team. We both said Pierre, we both said Hulkenberg, and then we both said Daniel Ricciardo, which...
Definitely not right about that one. Well, points? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're not right, but
yeah.
It's awkward because he left.
So for Hulkenberg outscoring, you said you think K-Mac is going to struggle this year. Which he didn't. He scored less than Hulkenberg, but I don't think he struggled.
I wouldn't say that he struggled.
Yeah.
No. I think he kind of he did have to sit out a whole race because of his penalty points.
Well, yeah, but.
So, I mean, I would say maybe in general it was a struggle, but maybe not in the struggle that I was anticipating.
Yeah. And then you said that you thought Daniel Ricciardo was going to lead the team.
Well, he would have if Christian Horner...
That's actually such a good point.
...gave him a bit more of a chance at Red Bull before Checo left.
And then we both said Lewis would outscore, which did not happen.
George really stepped up this year.
George really stepped up this year, yeah.
Very, very impressed with George this year.
Yeah. Okay. Next we wanted to talk about who we think was going to retire.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay.
But what did I say back then? I can guess who I was telling.
Celine, you said that K-Mag was going to retire.
I was correct.
I said I think one of the Haas drivers is... Well, no, he didn't retire.
I guess he got left out.
He got left out, and he's still racing, so he's not retired from racing.
I guess so, yeah.
I said I think one of the Haas drivers is going to get left out because of... that's what happened, yeah. We both said that Bottas would retire, not get left out. As we all know, Bottas is the Merc reserve for next year.
So he didn't retire.
And then...
Really, no one retired.
Nobody really retired.
I mean, we don't know about Checo.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We don't know if he's doing more racing in the future or what his plan is. I would guess Checo will probably retire. I would guess racing he would retire.
I saw a random rumor that he was talking with the Ferrari endurance team. I don't know.
In WEC?
Yeah. Literally don't know. That seems... I thought it was so random, though.
Yeah.
And then we both said we thought that Zhou wouldn't get a seat this next year. We didn't say retire.
Right. We were correct, yeah.
Okay. We talked about team switches, and we were like, I don't think there's going to be much team switches happening. Which... What?
Famous last words.
Famous last words. Celine, you said you thought that Alex was going to switch teams, which is funny because he is one of like 6 drivers who didn't switch teams.
Didn't. Yeah.
I said that if Checo leaves, Daniel's gonna change. Oh no, wait. I'm sorry, I didn't say this. You said that if Checo leaves, Daniel is going to take his spot, and they wouldn't bring in a rookie to Red Bull.
What did I say they were going to bring in?
You said it would only be Daniel. Like, you didn't think they would bring in... Like,
bring a rookie to the Red Bull seat.
Yeah, like, you said you didn't think they would bring in Liam to the Red Bull seat.
Well, they shouldn't have.
Well. There it is.
I stand by that opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we both said that we didn't think there was going to be a mid-season swap for Checo.
And there wasn't. Well, during the season, I did think that, but before the season,
yeah. This is just all what we said preseason.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we both said that Williams would get a podium.
I think we were just, we had some hope there, manifesting a little too close to the sun.
Yeah. And then we talked about... we both said that we thought a driver was going to get their first win, and I think we were trying not to say it. We were like, obviously we want it to be Lando, but...
And Lando and Oscar both
Yeah.
that was the only 2, right? Everybody else had a win before.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
You also said... You said, I hope Lando gets his first win early on in the season, and then he's going to keep winning. Which, he got his first win early on in the season.
Yep.
And then got 4 more races.
And we just happened to be there.
And leading into that, okay. We'll lead into that in a second. Celine, you said that you thought Danny Rick was going to get a podium. Which technically he got 3rd in the Miami Sprint, so.
Okay. I'll take it.
Count that, yeah. And then we both said that we thought Fernando would get a win.
Yeah, he probably needed one for his for his
absolutely for
mental state of mind.
And then I said a random one was I think that somebody from the 24 grid is going to go to IndyCar. And I said it might not happen in 25, but it could happen in 26. And technically, Logan's not going to IndyCar, but he did do a test with an IndyCar team.
Yeah, and they were impressed at the test.
They were.
And who knows, maybe he'll come in 2026.
And he topped the leaderboard. I'm going to give myself a half a point for that.
Yeah, I would say. I'd say a full point, because we don't know.
Thank you so much. We then said rookies we think we would sign on for 2025. Didn't think there was going to be 6 of them, 5 of them, whatever.
Who knows? I mean, there's so many that are
not keep track.
Technically, Liam's not a rookie. I mean, definitely not a rookie.
Ollie's
Ollie is technically not a rookie anymore. I mean, Jack did a race. Like,
we're gonna have to start saying like full season
rookies.
Yeah, full season rookies.
Which if we're considering full season rookies, there's 6.
Yeah, that's insane. You said you thought it was going to be Victor Martins, a rookie signed on.
Yeah, sorry. I was hoping for you, Victor.
I said Ollie, which was correct. Okay, and then this is so funny. We said, how many wins do we think Max is going to get? What do you think you said?
I'm sure I said a lot. I mean, I'm sure I said probably like at least 20.
You said 18.
18, okay.
And then I said 16. Do you know how many wins Max got this year?
How many?
9.
Not even double digits?
9.
Wow. I mean, like, I knew that, but, like, putting it into perspective,
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Again, how, like, different the season went than anybody anticipated.
Like, Lando got 4, Charles got 3, Carlos got 2, Oscar got 2, Lewis technically got 2 with George's disqualification. George got 1. George got 2.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Like, that's insane.
That's really crazy, actually.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
How many did Checo get?
0. Why are you rubbing salt in the wound? Like, he's already gone.
Oh my god. I'm not laughing about it. It's just like, I've just been saying this for a while.
It was the top teams minus Checo.
Yeah, I do feel bad for him.
I do as well. Okay, and then we did what we thought was going to be our overall champagne pop and our overall champagne problem.
Okay.
My overall champagne problem I gave to Alpine, which I'm going to keep it there.
Did we mention the pink camo at all? Did we know about the pink camo?
We didn't know about the pink camo yet.
Oh, okay. This was before they even revealed the cars.
Yeah, at this point it was just when McLaren like randomly threw out their livery and was like, "Here it is." And everybody was like, "What?"
I was like,
"Do you remember that?"
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so I would agree with Alpine.
Yeah.
Because I gave my I'm almost positive I gave my last champagne problem to Alpine in Abu Dhabi.
They had a lot of issues this year.
A lot of issues this year.
Yeah.
You said 2 of them.
I'm scared because I think I know one.
You did in fact say Haas.
I'm sorry, Haas. I've learned to love you so much this year, and I love you, and I didn't mean it. I was ignorant. Sorry.
I hope the husbands can forgive you.
Please, K-Mag, I'm sorry.
And then you also said Charles. You talked about how
I rated him so high but gave him my champagne problem.
Yeah. You talked about how he had a lot of bad luck towards the end of this year. Like, remember, like, Brazil 23 and stuff like that. And you said you thought it might carry over.
It didn't. He had actually really good... The races he won
they were
this
great.
season were the good, like, the ones that I think
he was winning by
he
miles.
wanted to win, too. He won Monza, he won Monaco. Like, those were the big ones for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Champagne pops?
What did I say?
No, yours was fine.
Oh, what did I say?
You said Oscar.
Oscar. And I stand by that. I think that's... Yeah. What did you say?
I said Daniel Ricciardo. What was I thinking? I think something must have happened where I had entered a quick Daniel Ricciardo era.
Yeah. And we must have both been in one. Because we go back and forth with Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah.
But I don't know where you got that
No, I
from.
literally don't know where. We talked a lot in the episode as we were talking about, obviously we thought that Daniel was going to get the Red Bull seat. So my reasoning was I think Daniel is going to be like showing off, like he's going to do his best to show he can get that Red Bull seat back.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna give we both said an overview at the end of the episode to like wrap things up, and then I have to jump back a bit to something else. Overview. Celine, you go. My overview, Haas sucks, Charles is gonna have a rough year.
I say now that I own like multiple pieces of Haas merch.
Yeah, that's so funny.
But like that also just like you just like thinking about it, like where am I gonna be like at the end of 2025? Like what if I think I'm always gonna love McLaren. I don't think that's gonna change. But like my other teams, because like I mean at the beginning of the year I'm pretty sure that I said that I liked, my top teams were like Aston Martin after McLaren. Like I think that was my top team, and I'm like now I'm like very indifferent about Aston Martin, and Haas is my second favorite team, literally from the bottom to the top.
So crazy.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
And I was saying that Ferrari was one of my favorite teams. What the fuck was I on?
Yikes. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be like all about Cadillac next year.
Wow.
Be a big Cadillac girl.
Okay.
Who knows?
You probably will.
Probably. I'll probably like them, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I already feel it in my bones.
sometimes you just can't stop it.
Just can't stop it. Yeah.
My overview, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I didn't write it down, so it probably wasn't that memorable. I just thought yours was hilarious. You literally go, we were like wrapping up the episode, and you're like, my overview, Haas sucks, and Charles is gonna have a rough season.
I was wrong about both of those.
Yeah, you were.
Haas doesn't suck, and Charles had a pretty good year.
Charles had a great year.
He was at P3.
He won his 2 home races. His home race, and then his team's home race.
Yep.
Okay. You know what we talked about?
What?
We talked about Miami.
Did we talk about Lando winning Miami?
Yes. We said, okay, so we were talking about...
Wait, I love that.
Because when we were talking about first wins, we were like, oh my gosh, like, what if, like, Lando won Miami? Like, we talked about that, and then we said, we were, like, freaking out thinking about it. Like, literally just thinking about it, we were like, oh my God!
Wow.
And then we were like, what would we do? And I was like, I will be sobbing. And if we go back and look at the video of me crashing out when Lando was coming by, I was sobbing.
That's crazy that we called that.
That's literally insane. And then we said, we were like, because we were talking about if someone won Miami, we were like, we would want it to be Lando, obviously. But then we were like, we don't know how McLaren's going to be. And we said who we would want to win Miami outside of McLaren. Mm-hmm. You said Fernando. I said Carlos.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah. I literally, like, gasped out loud, though.
That is crazy.
Like, word for word when we were talking about it, it was kind of insane.
Wait, are we... What is wrong?
No, and then we were like, oh, well, like, he gets his first win at the first Grand Prix we attend. Like, we were like, we'd be the good luck charms, like, da-da-da. Like, we predicted basically word for word what happened. It's insane.
I would like to put a statement out right now that...
Zach Brown.
Lando is going to win next year. I'm putting my statements out now.
Wait, save it for the next
Lando's going to win. I'm putting it out there. It seemed to work before, so.
Sorry for the scream. I just got really excited.
It's okay.
Yeah, I thought our predictions are insane. We overall were thinking Merc did good this year, but we thought they were gonna do a lot better than they did.
Yeah, they did really good at specific races. They just weren't very consistent.
Like, especially, like, they had the heating problems, so like Vegas was great for them. Silverstone was great for them because, like, you know, it was cooler races. Yeah. Insane. Yeah, and we really thought Lewis and me, apparently Daniel Ricciardo.
Daniel, we're so sorry.
Yeah.
What are your I mean, this is our last episode before the end of the year.
Yeah, let's talk about the season.
Yeah, let's talk about the season as a whole. What are your thoughts? Anything that you were shocked by? Any trends that you noticed?
Oh, trends.
Yeah. Any patterns or? I mean, I think for me, I think just, again, I didn't necessarily remember my predictions ranking Haas so low, but I did feel like a shift in the Haas team this year.
Oh, yeah, you absolutely
And I don't know if it's the team principal situation or what exactly what it was. It feels like it happened around Gunther Steiner leaving.
Yeah, I said that in the episode.
Did you?
Yeah, I said, because when we were ranking teams in order, I ranked Haas a little bit higher, and you were like, what? And I was like, I don't know, like, Komatsu coming in, he has, like, a good engineering background. I think he's going to, like, help that with the team.
And I think he's done amazing with just he's not only developing the car and developing the team, but also, like, the sponsors coming in this year. They had that partnership, with Toyota Gazoo. Yeah. Like, it just feels like there was a shift in Haas, and I'm super excited not only to see what they can do in 2025, but with Ollie, too, on the team is great.
It's going to be so good.
But to see what they're going to do in 2026... I think that they built up a really good fan base this year, and I think that Ollie's, I mean, Esteban, yes, but Ollie is going to bring in a lot of fans to Haas.
Huge amount of fans.
And I don't know, it's just going to be so interesting.
It is going to be very, very interesting.
I'm like, I have my eye on them for 2025.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Any other teams you have your eye on?
For 25?
Yeah. Other than, I mean, obviously we're going to have our eye on McLaren.
And like the top never not on McLaren.
But any like mid or lower teams that you're like, oh, maybe something, like with their new driver lineups, you're like, maybe something could cook there.
I'm well and truly so curious to see how Williams is going to fare with Carlos's knowledge. Because we even saw at postseason testing, Carlos was, like, in that car with the mechanics, showing them different things, obviously taking that knowledge over from Ferrari. And Carlos is very good at the mechanical side of things as well.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, he grew up with cars. Yeah. Like, his dad was a racer. Yeah. Like, it's the same thing that you see with, like, Max Verstappen. Like, this is, like, their whole lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the only thing that surrounds them. So, yeah, I think I'm interested to see for sure how Williams does.
They're not going to be... They'll obviously still be midfield. I'm curious to see, like, what bringing Carlos over and his knowledge is going to do and help with that team.
Yeah.
And it could be, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe towards end of the year type of deal. They're popping off a bit more. By popping off a bit more, I mean, like, scoring top 5. Maybe.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
That'd literally be insane.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far into it because we'll have our whole 2025
episode.
Predictions, but there's definitely some teams, specifically surrounding, like, the rookies that I'm interested in.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have any 2024 rookies.
No, until Franco came in.
Yeah. Oh, what are your thoughts on Franco?
I don't think Franco has anything to worry about.
I think he'll be okay. I think it's going to be a Liam Lawson situation.
I think it might be a Liam Lawson situation.
Where maybe not even necessarily with Williams, but I think that 2025, all of these team principals are going to be seeing their team lineups, and probably not the rookies, but some of these other drivers that have been given chances before and maybe haven't performed perfectly.
Yeah.
I think that they're all going to be, like, in the back of their head, okay, we know that we have this guy Franco. He's going to bring in sponsors. He's bring in fans.
Yeah.
A huge amount of fans. And he is good in an F1 car. He was good in a Williams. I mean, not perfect. There was definitely a lot of things to get used to.
That car was undrivable, though.
But I think that they're going to keep him, all the team principals are going to keep him in their back pocket. And I think that he's going to pull a Liam Lawson situation and maybe end up back in the car by the end of 2025. If not, I think for sure 2026.
Yeah. I'm just, like, trying to think of where he would go type of situation. It's going to be very interesting, too, with Cadillac coming in, people switching. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think was the craziest thing that happened this year outside of a new driver winning? So, like, outside of Lando and Oscar winning the first time.
I think one of the craziest things that sticks out to me was the George situation in Spa.
Yes.
Where he, like, fully won the race.
Yes.
And then, because we've seen people get disqualified before after the race. It happened in 2023 with Lewis and Charles. But we haven't seen them, like, win and get disqualified. Like, a whole new winner. And I feel so bad for him. It was so sad.
It was really, really sad.
That wasn't Yabba Dabba Doo, was it?
No, that wasn't Yabba Dabba Doo.
Okay, good, because that'd be so embarrassing if he won, said Yabba Dabba Doo, and then got disqualified.
Was that Yabba Dabba Doo?
I don't know. I don't know what race Yabba Dabba Doo was.
I don't know either.
That was also crazy. Yabba Dabba Doo.
Yabba Dabba Doo was insane.
That was crazy.
Absolutely insane. I'm trying to think of one of the craziest things I thought this year. Oh, I think Ollie stepping up 3 separate times, 2 of them being on separate teams.
Yeah, for, like, completely different situations.
Oh, all different.
One of them, appendix.
Got his appendix removed.
The other one, Kevin was literally given a race ban. That was also kind of a crazy thing that happened, too.
Yeah, K-Mag race ban.
Full on race ban. And then third, it was because K-Mag was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And so 3 completely different situations.
Also, one of them was the craziest race ever, Brazil.
Yeah.
The fact that he did Brazil.
Yep. And Franco doing Brazil, too. Those 2 rookies. I think Brazil in general was an insane race. I feel like there's always that one race that sticks out and you're like, these conditions are tough. In 2023, we had Qatar, where everyone was like, it's too hot. These drivers are passing out. This year, it was Brazil. I think Brazil 24 is the Qatar 23.
It is, absolutely.
And it was really, really dangerous driving, and a lot of the people were not happy. It led to a whole uproar in the GPDA.
Yep.
That statement also a crazy moment.
That was so crazy. I remember, like, just scrolling on Twitter and then people being like, oh my god, the GPDA made an Instagram account, and I was like, what? This isn't real.
Yeah.
So then I went and searched it and I was like,
you're like, oh, the drivers are following it. It's real.
It's real.
Yeah, no, it's just really a lot of crazy stuff happened. Like,
this
a lot of
insane.
A lot of things like that happened this season. You could have told me, and even as like early as like, again, when we made these predictions, January 2024, that they would happen. I'd be like, absolutely not.
No, literally,
absolutely not.
I mean, no, that's not happening. Especially just like all the team switches and stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
Insane. And it all started
with
Lewis Hamilton.
Only Lewis was the domino. He was the first domino.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like, only 2 teams are staying the same from year to year, and that's McLaren and Aston Martin.
Yeah.
And honestly, I am kind of shocked that Fernando is still racing next year with all of the health
know,
problems. We talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll have another year in him.
I know.
I think he wants another year in him, and I think mentally he wants another. He can do another year. Physically, I just don't think he can do it.
I know. It's...
And think about how much traveling that is, too.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Traveling is so hard on your body, and he's going from time zone to time zone. He's old, guys. Like, it's not, I'm not even trying, I don't have to even be, like, nice about it, because that's how old he is, you know? Like, it's not like calling, like, Carlos old. Like, we're like, if I'm like, Carlos is kind of old. No, Fernando's just old. He's just old. There's no, like, question about it. Someone get that man some bed rest.
He needs his time off. Speaking of, did you see him with his, his management group? What's it called?
A14?
Yes, A14. Did you see him with all of them?
Yeah.
It was really cute. Like Chloe and
Bortoletto.
My favorite was, there was like a picture of them driving away in the car. I don't know if all of them were in there, but everyone was like, I can't believe Pepe is like the official driver of all of the age 14 kids. Because he like driving Chloe. Of course she was sitting in the passenger seat. My girl. Love her.
My girl. We love Chloe.
I'm obsessed.
Oh, how was... Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, did you see all her posts on social media this week?
I saw some of them.
She, like, got on Twitter and she was like, hey, I like this Twitter thing. It was really funny. And then she got stuff from Charlotte Tilbury. She, like, an unboxing and stuff.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was fun.
She's super great. I think I'm excited to see what she can do in Formula One Academy next year. Any things that you were shocked by in F2 or Formula One Academy or anything else?
I was shocked by how close the race came to. That final race. Yeah, in F2.
Yeah, I mean, even the race, the second to last race, 0.5, which that alone, insane, to have a 0.5 in the race is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the races being so close. You definitely kept up with F2 more than I did.
Yeah.
I thought the season was over and there were still 2 more races left.
Oh, you for sure did.
But, I like kept up with it more on like an outside of racing side. Like I kept up with like
the drivers.
Yeah. I didn't necessarily keep up with the standings like you did.
I remember it. I think Australia. I forget when their first race was, but they raced in Australia, and I remember I like had F1 TV playing. It was like either I woke up super early or it was still late at night. I forget what was happening, and I remember like F1 TV just kept playing and it just automatically went
Australia was late at night for us because remember we sat on a couch and watched Max DNF.
Yes.
And Ryan was there.
Okay, so yeah, it was late at night, so I must have like rewatched like, qualifying or something and it just like kept playing. And I remember the F2 race was on. It was insane. I like crash, restart, and I was like, oh, I've got to keep my eye on this.
I gotta keep my eye on this series.
I did. It was good. I'm gonna try and keep my eye on it more next year.
Are there
it's,
any
like, fun chaotic racing?
Are there any like F2 drivers that you wish would have had a chance to get onto the F1 grid or maybe become reserve drivers? Anyone that you're like, oh, I wish they were good. I wish they had more of like a opportunity.
Pepe, because he had just such an unlucky year, and I'm glad that he got re-signed.
Yeah, so he's doing F2 again next year.
Yeah, he's doing F2 again next year, and he's a part of the Red Bull program, and he just won his first race in Abu Dhabi, which is so exciting. I think that if Red Bull stays messy like this, like in the next year or two, we'll see Pepe in, I almost said AlphaTauri.
Whoa.
In the V-Carb Racing Bulls, whatever they're going to be called again this year.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
That's what they're going to be called.
And the only reason I started liking him was because someone tweeted and was like, hey, keep an eye out for this kid this year. And I was like, okay. I was like, will do. And then, of course, I started watching, and I became a big fan of Zane Maloney and Bortoletto. So that's what I was
We are big Bortoletto fans. Yeah, I mean,
What about you for F1 Academy?
F1 Academy,
Any big things?
I wish that Leah would have had a better opportunity.
Me too.
Because she proved that she could do it. She had some really good races, and the consistency just wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I think having a whole year under her belt and then coming back next year, I think will be really good.
She had to know the open wheel racing versus what she was used to.
Yeah, she'd never done open wheel racing before this point. So
crazy.
I think she's going to do really good. I'm really, really excited. I think Chloe did fantastic, and when you're put against, I mean, Abby Pulling and Dorian Pin, it's like,
yeah,
it's tough. But Dorian Pin's doing it next year again too.
Yeah, so exciting.
And I am a little sad for Chloe because I do think Dorian is going to dominate next year.
I think so too. And that will have to be both of their last years.
Yep. So it's disappointing that the timing worked out that way. But Abby Pulling, I mean.
Oh my gosh.
Put on a masterclass.
A legend.
An actual legend. I was I loved Formula One Academy this year. I'm super excited that they're getting the opportunity to come to more of the races that we have access to.
In North America.
In North America. So, we got to see them in Miami this year, which was just super cool.
I loved it, yeah.
But it was great. Go ahead.
In Miami, I don't know if I've said this before on the podcast. I might have. But when Abby won the race on Sunday, and then the anthem was playing, I remember I looked at you and I said, we're going to hear that again today. And we did.
Wow.
Yeah. I literally remember I was like, am I psychic?
I called it.
Yeah, I called it.
We've been calling it, though.
Absolutely.
Kind of putting it in perspective, so we got to go to 3 F1 races this year.
Yeah.
And do we have a planned episode going over and comparing them?
We don't. We can.
Okay, let's talk about
them
it right now. Yeah. So out of the 3 races, so we did Miami, COTA, and Vegas.
We also went into the beginning of 2024, and we were like, it was literally actually New Year's Eve. Do you remember this?
No.
We were talking about, it was very late at night after a couple. An open bar. And we were like talking to our friends, of course, trying to get them to watch Formula One. And we were like, yeah, like we think we're going to go to COTA. You were saying that. And I was like, okay, Celine, what if COTA's so far down the line in October? What if we go to Miami? And you were like, that's going to be expensive. And I was like, okay, yeah, we'll go to Miami. And then like we'll have time to save up for COTA. And I think in that moment I had convinced us to go to Miami.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay.
Yeah, and then like a month later we bought tickets. But we went into the year only basically thinking we were going to do Miami and not really knowing what else we were going to do.
Yeah, we didn't even, at this point also, we didn't even care about IndyCar.
Oh, yeah. Well, not that
we cared about it, but like we didn't like know anything about it.
Yeah.
Like very, very little. Like this was even before Daytona.
Yeah.
Which was like another thing that we'll talk about. But like, so we came in like really just like one track mind Formula One. And we're like, we can probably swing it to go to like one race.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how we pulled off this year, guys. I really don't know how. But not taking into perspective, because obviously Miami was our first race. It was Lando's first win. Yeah. We're huge Lando fans. So obviously if you ask us full experience what our favorite is, you would say?
I would say Miami. I also would say Miami because we like a nightlife scene. We do
like a nightlife scene. And that was important to us. Because if we're going to go on a trip to a race, we want to make it like a trip.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't want to just go to the track.
Yeah.
And we were able to do that in Miami.
We also like got there a day early, like went to the pool.
And it was our most like planned out of the 3 races. Miami, which again we only bought the tickets maybe like 4 or 5 months in advance.
We got them in January.
But Miami was our most like pre-planned Formula One trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other 2 we literally decided we were going less than a month before.
Yeah, it was insane.
So recommend planning in advance
for sure.
But
I would actually recommend planning in advance. It's fun the like spontaneous of it all.
Spontaneity.
Thank you. I think you're right. I liked spontaneous more for Vegas and COTA.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But overall, I think we would both say that Miami was our favorite race. It's gonna always like hold a special place in my heart. Like everyone's gonna be like, your favorite race of all time, Miami 24. I think I'll say that for however many years to come. It also was like really different because it was our first race ever.
Yeah.
Like we've never been to an IndyCar race before this.
I went to a NASCAR race when I was younger, but like it was nothing of this caliber. It was it was a NASCAR race in Kentucky.
It was also like a race that me and Gracie went in, and while we had our TikTok and we had our podcast, we didn't know anybody else in the community before we got there. And when we were there, we met up with some of our friends for the very first time. We got to meet Sabrina. Yeah. We got to meet Mimi.
We got to meet Mimi, and now we're like
we're great friends. We love Mimi, and we talked with Sabrina. Like it's just like it's so cool because that was like our first thing, and we're like, oh my gosh, like there's like a space here for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we left that trip like on like cloud 9. Like we were like that was peak.
I'm gonna be honest. The next like following week was like I was like walking around just like a robot, like a Sims character. I was like, what do I do?
And then we decided to go to the Indy Road Course
the very next weekend.
We were home for 4 or 5 days, and we went.
Yeah.
Again, some
We're also very fortunate that we're so close to Indy.
It was, we literally went for the day.
Yeah.
Which was great. But it was just what we needed.
It was absolutely what we needed.
But yeah, overall, I would say Miami was my favorite race.
Mm-hmm. Me as well.
But I will say the one that I'm looking the most forward to next year would be going to Vegas.
Oh, really?
Miami, I loved it. But Vegas, to me, there was so much, like, that I didn't know going into Vegas that now I went to. I think it's, you know what I think it is? Is because Miami, we accidentally did so good our first time.
No,
we had no idea what to expect, and we accidentally
How did we do that, by the way?
We accidentally made a lot of really good decisions.
So many good decisions.
The hotel we stayed at was, like, the perfect location to the shuttles. We picked the right grandstand to sit in. Without really knowing any of this, I think we just got lucky.
No, we went in and we were like, let's just find the cheapest grandstand to sit in. I don't care where we're sitting.
Yeah. And like, it was a great seat.
Yeah.
We had a great hotel. Mm-hmm. It was not far from even, like, going to, like, all the way down to Miami. It was a long Uber, but, like, it wasn't expensive.
No, it wasn't bad.
We accidentally just did it right.
We, like, had figured everything out so well. It's insane.
Mm-hmm. And then I think because of that, I'm like, okay, well, like, it's gonna be great. But, like, Vegas, we planned very last minute. And it was great, don't get me wrong. It was fantastic, but I almost wish that we had more time.
Yeah.
I wish that we had more of, like, a plan of, like, okay, these are the things. Like, luckily, we got so lucky because we were there with some friends. Yeah. And that made everything great. But also, MJ, our friend, was there multiple days before, so she knew where everything was. Mm-hmm. She was able to literally be, like, our tour guide. Yeah. And was like, this hotel has the McLaren car. And this hotel has, which it was our hotel, but this hotel has the Mercedes car. And it was great. Mm-hmm. But I think that, like, knowing what I know now and experiencing the Vegas race, there's so many things that I'm like, next year we should do this and next year we should do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's going to make it, like, even better that I'm like, oh my God, the potential. Mm-hmm. Another thing, I've talked about this before, I think, but another reason I liked maybe, overall it's Miami, but something I liked about Las Vegas is that everything is so close together.
Yes.
So, like, again, she said, we like nightlife. We like to go out after the races, if possible. If not, definitely the days leading up to it. And it's so, like, everything's so close together. Like, people are like, it's hard to walk places in Vegas, and it's so accessible. I'm like, no, like, keeping in mind, even, like, the fan activation stuff, like, in Miami and Coda, you had to, like, drive or take an Uber.
Spread around the city.
Yeah. It was all spread out. Like, there was a lot to do, don't get me wrong, but you couldn't, like, go and do multiple things all in one day. Mm-hmm. You had to kind of pick and choose because everything was so far away from each other. Yeah. But Vegas, it was very easy to go. We literally went from one stop to another stop to another stop to another stop, and we were able to walk most of the places. We took a couple Ubers, but we were able to walk most of the places. Everything, like, if you are only able to do, like, the race day in any of the cities, I do think Vegas would be the best option.
I think also for Miami and Coda, so for Vegas we did a ton of walking. We walked from multiple hotels, like crossing bridges, streets, whatever. And it was closer together than the others, but also in those other cities you're doing a lot of stuff, but, like, you're going, like, all across town. Like, we did go pretty far down the strip at one point away from our hotel. But, like, it's still all kind of right there. Like, it doesn't feel like you're going that far. Yeah. Yeah. Also, just, like, Vegas is insane in itself. Yeah. And, like, outside of race weekend stuff, like, you will never be bored.
Yeah. It was great. Yeah. And honestly, like, I feel like we loved Coda.
I loved Coda.
It was so great. It's just that we had such good experiences at the other two races that sometimes I feel like Coda gets overshadowed. But honestly, and I think Coda was different for us because we had, like, general admission, and there was a lot more, like, unknown going into Coda that we didn't necessarily plan for. And we didn't know, like, the best places to, like, or where we could sit or where there were spots open, and it was pretty hot, and it was a lot of walking, and, like, it was still a fantastic weekend.
No, it was
we had so much fun, but it was just definitely, like,
I think compared to the others, like, those are...
And again, it also helps that we're kind of, like, city girls. Like, we like the city. And Coda, while it's in Austin, is definitely still, like, it's a track away from things. It's not necessarily a track that if you want to go out to, like, the bars afterwards. Yeah. It's not super convenient.
I think there were also, like, a lot of frustrating things that I was like, Miami did this better. Like, the shuttles were super nice.
Oh, my gosh.
But the amount of... And there's going to be traffic for Coda no matter what. There's going to be traffic around a Grand Prix no matter what. But... the shuttles for Miami, the whole way there almost from our shuttle stop. We were on the highway with other traffic for a good chunk of time, but like the majority of the time it was a bus-only shuttle lane for the Grand Prix. And like nobody else was on there. It was only the shuttles. We were barreling through traffic.
And another thing that's so crazy to me is that Miami was able to do that in the middle of like a metropolitan area.
Yeah.
Like there was things like businesses, houses, you know, like the freaking stadium all next to this. And maybe it is that they have just more experience with it.
I think the bigger highway systems, because we were definitely on, like, huge highways.
Yeah.
And, like, around COTA, it's, like, 3 or 4 lanes, not a highway, like, going opposite ways. But still, I was just, like
the fact that there's nothing else around there, though, like, you couldn't come up with a better system for this.
And, like, obviously, like, they probably know best. They have these engineers working on when they show. But I was like, can you guys just not open the shuttle lane a little bit earlier?
Yeah.
Like, please.
Well, and then another thing that was different from the shuttles in COTA and the shuttles in Miami is the ones in Miami were free.
Yes, they were free.
The Brightline station, it was running shuttles for free. Like, you went to the Brightline station.
Even the other one, not at the Brightline, was free.
The what?
Even, like, they all were free.
Yeah.
Like, not at the Brightline.
The Hard Rock Cafe. Yeah, that one was free, too. And that, I think, alone, like, we were like, I think it encouraged more people to take the shuttles, which helped the traffic.
I agree.
And also they were all nice shuttles.
Oh my gosh,
they were all like
coach
were
buses.
Like the COTA ones, and that didn't really matter, but we were on like school buses.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine, but it was like, again, like the difference is like how that was free and that, and it definitely comes down to funding, and Miami definitely has more funding and has more publicity around it, and more celebrities go. Then like COTA is more of like a race for the fans.
Also, like COTA, it's like it's been this way. It's always gonna be this way. Miami kind of came in and they were like, we're this new race in 22. Like we need to make this good so people want to come, type of deal. And then they're like, we got to make this good. We got to make it better. I don't know. Yeah. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
Okay.
It does. All I know is that our goal for next year, we want to go back to Miami and we want to go back to Vegas. Yeah. If we can pull off COTA again, we'll obviously go. But Vegas and Miami are priorities for next year.
I think for me, also, we flew for COTA the very first day. I feel like we loved COTA so much. Like, but I got a migraine that Friday, and let me tell you, being at a racetrack with a migraine is not fun. Like, Celine had, like, extra strength Advil from what was it, for, like, a doctor or something? Oh, your surgery.
Yeah.
And she was
It was not prescribed. I got it at the store. I got it at Walgreens. You made it sound like I was giving you...
Well, I thought it was. I would have taken it anyway.
No, it was just over the counter.
Whatever. I thought you were giving me, like, whatever. But she had whatever. And I was like, that's just how desperate I was. I was like, I don't care. I need some type of medicine. And I was like, I've already paid to be here. We've already shuttled here. Like, I'm not leaving now. I don't know. And that was just horrible. I, like, fully, really just didn't. Friday, I'm, like, was trying to fit it so hard.
Of me and our friend Ryan watching the race, and I, like, pan over. Or it was, like, qualifying. Yeah. I think it was sprint quali.
It might have been.
And I pan over, and Gracie's just laying there with her, like, hat over her eyes, like, just resting. I'm like, okay, girl.
So that, like, obviously it was just a personal situation for me that, like, affected a bit. And, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to try COTA again someday. We'll try.
I'd love to go back to COTA.
Yeah, it was fun.
But all in all, fantastic year. We'll probably do another episode at one point. We've already actually kind of recapped all of the IndyCar races and comparing those.
Yeah.
But we were just we got to do so many things this year. That was fantastic. It's literally our last episode.
Episode before the end of the year.
For the end of the year.
Yeah.
And really, we only have a couple more episodes until our anniversary.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
We're about to come up on 1 year of Podium Pop.
We'll get cake.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll get some cake for sure.
Ooh, we should make a monochromatic pink cake.
Oh my god, yeah. We could decorate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sprinkles.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like
sprinkles either.
Oh my god.
I like the look of them.
I like chocolate sprinkles. Regular sprinkles.
I don't really like the taste of any sprinkles. Really? We're kind of getting off track here, but...
No. Okay, like, if they're still listening now, this is what they're here for.
Fork Down in Kitchen. We're getting off track.
Fork Down in Kitchen.
But yeah, we're super grateful for all the opportunities we had this year. And we are excited to document our experiences next year. We're doing some new things. We're doing some different racing series. We're starting to look into IMSA, and we're going to Daytona 24, which I am so excited about because Daytona also has that special place in my heart because that was the first thing that we covered on Podium Pop TikTok is the Daytona 24,
Yeah.
and we had no idea what was
Literally
going
no
on.
clue what was happening.
We went in completely blind. Like, I think I knew maybe, like, 4 of the race car drivers.
I saw Pato and I was like, I saw Pato and Jensen Button and I was like, okay, I'll watch.
Yeah. That is also where I developed my love for Pietro.
It is.
Although I called him the wrong name for the longest time. Sorry. I know now, but that is where I developed my love for him.
Yeah,
is the
for
Daytona
sure
24.
And that's when you knew nothing about Screaming Mules.
Yeah.
Or like Clem, and I was
So
like,
you were
no.
freaking out about Clem.
And I was like,
oh.
Clem got hurt in qualifying, and Pietro's taking over, and you're like, Pietro? And then I
Yeah.
was like, no, you don't get it.
You don't get it. Focus.
I was like, Clem is out. And you're like, but who's Pietro? And I was like, I've lost her.
And the rest, she hasn't gotten me back since then.
No, I really have not.
But all in all, yeah, we're super excited for
Yeah.
2025.
We
And yeah,
So we want to thank everybody who has listened to us, followed us this year.
supported us.
Yeah, thank you
all
so
of the
much.
friends we've made this year.
Absolutely.
And
speaking of which, the majority of you don't subscribe to Podium Pop. So what are you
What?
doing? The majority of people who
oh yeah,
listen
most
to
of our
us
listeners just
don't
subscribe.
Why
Come
are you
on.
subscribed?
Give
You
us a
obviously
little-
like
Give us a
it.
little subscribe.
Yeah, so make sure you subscribe. Once again, thank you for all your support, our journey.
Yes.
Next year, gonna be even better.
Guys, we had our 2025
We
planning
did.
meeting yesterday. We have so many good ideas for next year. We have a lot of series that we want to do.
Yeah.
We have a lot of, expanding our content that we want to do, a lot of ideas.
Lots
and
of vlogs coming and
little-
surrounding like race weekends, and then like YouTube videos outside of the
we
podcast.
want to be much more active on YouTube, which most of you, if you're listening to this, are probably listening on YouTube.
Yeah. If
So
you're
keep
not
an eye
listening
out.
on YouTube, hop on over.
Yeah.
Make sure you're following on Spotify, and then hop over to YouTube. Give us the
Yeah.
subscription.
Yeah.
It's free.
It's free. Come on, guys.
A like too. That's also free.
Yeah. Maybe a comment also.
Oh, fine. Yeah.
Unless it's mean.
Oh,
Then
don't
save
do
it.
That.
Save it.
Don't be rude.
But yeah, all in all, happy holidays
happy
to everyone.
holidays.
Happy New Year. Everyone have a safe holiday if you're traveling. Stay safe. And we'll see you all next year.
Oh, we'll see you next year. Bye.
Bye.